Okay, hi Iris. Thank you so much for joining me today for this interview. Do you mind starting just by introducing yourself, kind of what college you go to, what subject you study?
Absolutely. Hi there. My name's Iris. I am a first year, going on to second year undergrad at University College called UNIV, and I studied German and Russian from scratch.
And when you were applying for university and you were looking at Oxbridge, what made you choose Oxford over and above Cambridge to study your course?
Um, Mainly, the main reason is I'd never been to Cambridge before, and I'd been to Oxford a couple of times. And in terms of ease of access from London to Oxford, that was definitely like the simplest way to get there. And just as a city, I just absolutely fell in love with like the whole colleges, the way life is like really relaxed. And also I'd heard kind of rumours around that Oxford is slightly more fun and a bit more social than Cambridge. That's from my perspective because I've never been to Cambridge, but yeah, that's kind of why.
And then when you were looking at colleges, what was your decision-making process like that led you to UNIV?
So I went to the open day in the summer, and initially, so before going there, I kind of made a list of the colleges that offer my course, and I kind of narrowed down from there, started quite centrally. I started with Brasenose, that was the first one I visited, and that's actually the college I applied to. So it was Brasenose originally, but I also went to UNIV, funnily enough, and I think just kind of walking around the colleges, because they can seem quite similar on the outside or even like on the websites, and really getting a feel for like, you know, the students, what it's like, whether people are responsive, and yeah, just kind of walking around.
And so what was it that made you made you apply to Brasenose at the beginning?
I think it was just kind of walking in the entrance and just automatically having like lots of people coming to welcome me and my mum, just being really friendly and all this, and really kind of happy to help. Because I did go to other colleges afterwards just to, you know, make my due diligences and like visit, you know, other colleges, and some of the student helpers were just slightly more reluctant to help. It was just a gut feeling more than anything, and just feeling comfortable there.
Yeah. And then once you arrived at UNIV, what can you remember what Freshers Week was like at
Oh
UNIV?
god, yeah, kind of parts of it. No, it was really really good. So UNIV's got this thing before Freshers Week, before the official Freshers Week, called Maths Week, and that's basically like a week minus one for STEM subject people, so like everyone doing math sciences, and they spend a week before the official Freshers Week kind of doing some maths and getting to know each other. So when I arrived for Freshers Week, it was slightly daunting to see that like so many people knew each other before or had met a week before. But that was still fine because we had lots of like activities planned, and the student helpers, like the second years, were really lovely. So yeah, it was really fun.
What was your favourite activity that you did in Freshers Week?
Um, so there were lots of kind of nighttime activities involving, you know, clubbing, the general stuff that you do and all that. But like even during the day, I remember at some point we had like a kind of arts session. So UNIV this year had a resident artist from America, I think, and she organised lots of little like workshops and stuff. And we did one because I think it was like Day of the Dead or something during Freshers Week, or that might have been later, I can't remember, but anyways, it was like designing kind of Mexican masks together like in the college bar, and that was just really lovely, like a non-drinking but still social way to meet other freshers.
Yeah, you definitely need that in Freshers Week. Like sometimes you kind of just need a break from all of the clubbing and everything. And has that kind of atmosphere of social activities and things continued throughout the year? Can you think of some social events that you've really enjoyed at UNIV this year?
Definitely. I think each term we had two open mic nights in the college bar, and that was really fun. So you had lots of people performing, and you had people kind of singing with their guitars. I think we had a drum kit at some point, and somebody like singing in German. It was really wild, but at least it gave a chance to everyone to kind of perform and do something really niche. And what I really like about uni is the way that like everyone's really kind of supportive of each other and like each other's niche interests, and there's no one like laughing at you if you're singing kind of like on a false tone or something. So yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah, no, I've been, because obviously I've been speaking to people from different colleges, and it sounds like quite a lot of colleges have these open mic nights. Well, I don't think we have one at LMH, or if we have, I've been missing it. And they sound like so much fun. So I think I might try and encourage all of my musical friends when I go back to start one. And for in terms of eating at UNIV, how does like your kind of dining system work? Like, where do you eat? What meals are offered in your dining hall?
So we've got a big hall that's quite old-fashioned. People would like it, I think. It's like, you know, lots of portraits of old men. There's only one portrait of a woman, but hopefully next year our master is a woman, so she'll have a portrait too, which is good. Anyways, but yeah, so people generally eat in hall. It's open for breakfast, lunch and dinner. Quite early, but still there's some food, and there's always like a hot meal, a hot veggie option, which is nice, and also like a deli and salad bar on the side if ever you need something like lighter. Lots of snacks takeaway if ever you need. I think buttery, which is where we get the food, is always open if you want to grab like something on the go. And yeah, what you do is you use your student card and you top it up like at the start of term or when it runs out, and you just kind of like use that to pay, and it's deducted from your battles as you go. So like a pay-as-you-go system, which is really convenient.
And so you said about the buttery, is that kind of like a cafe, or do you have a separate cafe at?
So it's not a separate cafe, but basically when you go into the place where you get the food, there's like fridges and like, you know, shelves of snacks, and also the room for hot food, and you can either get either basically.
And so then the buttery section is open most of the time. Exactly. So if like mid-morning you wanted to get something, then I see. And do you have a formal hall at UNIV?
Yes, we do. We have it free 2 or 3 times, at least 2 times, I think. And you have to wear your gown for that, and it's really good. So it's a 3-course meal. I think it's about £10, which is actually quite expensive, I heard, compared to other colleges. But like the food is really good, and if you have any like food requirements, you can have a vegan option. The only downside about the vegan option is dessert is always fruit. Whereas like other people like really good cakes and all this, but I think they're working towards getting like a vegan cake, so yeah, everyone should be happy.
Wait, and so that's 2 or 3 times a week in the same hall?
In the same hall, in the big hall, yeah.
And do you have like a regular favorite or like go-to kind of meal in college that, you know, if you see it on the menu, or if you know it's a specific meal coming up, like you're there?
Yes, yeah. The veggie curry. I think they put like sweet potato, almonds, raisins, which might sound a bit like weird, but they're really good. Served on rice with like a side of courgettes and stuff. Yeah, it's really good. Mm-hmm.
And at the weekends, what catering is offered?
So there isn't any breakfast on the weekends, but there's brunch, which opens at 11. And that kind of counts for both breakfast and lunch. Yeah, brunch. And they have really nice pastries like yogurt, but also like hot kind of breakfast food, so bacon, all that stuff. And then dinner slightly earlier on the weekends. But then like most of accommodation have kitchens anyway, so if you want to cook something on the side, you can do that. Yeah.
And in terms of pricing, let's say like at brunch you had £5. Like, would that get you a ridiculous amount of food? Would it only get you a drink? Like, if I said to you, okay, you've got £5, what are you buying at brunch, for example? How would it work?
I think you'd get like a plate of hot food plus a thing on the side. So like a solid breakfast and maybe a cup of tea or like a fruit or something. You get your fill, I think. For me at least, yeah.
And do people tend to cook? What are your cooking facilities like at uni?
Mm-hmm. So it depends on your room and on basically where you are in college. So I think college renovated a big part of its accommodation in like 2015, and it's really modern, and all those rooms have like got really modern kitchens with really good ovens and all that. And then other rooms which are slightly more, you know, old fashioned or like ancient, have got kitchen facilities but smaller. And yeah, so it really depends where you are, but generally you can be close to a kitchen and kind of go there easily if you wanted
Yeah,
to.
you can kind of use other people's.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
are you allowed things like kettles or anything in your bedroom? Like, do you get fridges in your room, anything like
Yeah,
that?
we have a mini fridge each, which is really, really handy. It's not too big, but still, like it's good. We have a sink also in our rooms, which is quite nice. I know some rooms, especially access rooms, have got ensuite bathrooms, if you need, and you never really go on like obviously kind of offering rooms to everyone who might need like a special room, so that's quite good. And what was I going to say? Yeah.
And in terms of kind of mobility and access and all of that kind of thing, how does UNIF provide for, do you have wheelchair access to main buildings and things like that?
So our JCR is step-free access, which is quite good. But then I'm just trying to think. The staircase in which I am has got no lift, obviously, because the buildings are very old. University Orders College, or they claim, but yeah. But I think if you needed a special room, I think that modern building I was talking about does have a lift, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
And what is your accommodation like in general? Do you have, like, what are your rooms like? How are they kind of organized, and how are freshers spaced out over your site?
So some freshers have got a room on main quad, which are the nicest rooms because you get a view on the really nice bits of the college. And those tend to be quite big. So most of them will have like a shared study. So we'll fit 2 people, and then from that study you have 2 rooms with just a bed and a sink. My room and my staircase is quite small, so it's a small staircase of like 6 rooms. Mostly freshers on there, so it's quite nice to like socialise, especially at the start. And yeah, so they're all freshers are on college for the first year, which is quite nice. And you have like a minimum of kind of 5 people around you in terms of like rooms. You might have some third years out there, but mostly freshers.
And after your first year, do you have accommodation? Like, how does your accommodation work after your first year on site?
So all second years go to this annex that's like 40 minutes away from UNIF, so quite far away. I think it's past St. Hugh's, which is very far away. And all the second years live there, like in flats, and you get to ballot for that with your friends, which is quite nice. And third year, you're back on college, and fourth year, I think most people will be on college, or otherwise you can probably like live out if you wanted to.
And on your main site, what kind of facilities do you have for students to use?
What do you mean?
So do you have a bar? Do you have a gym? Do you have a JCR? Those kinds of things.
Yeah, of course. We do have a JCR, which has been renovated quite recently, so it looks very modern, very kind of cozy, lots of beanbags and all that. We have a college bar. There's a smoking area. We have 2 libraries, one old, one new. There's a chapel where the choir sings. What else? There is a gym that's quite small, but there is one with a weights room, cardio section, and yeah, a couple of kitchens and all the usual stuff. Yeah.
And when you guys play sport, do you have sports fields that you can that your college owns and you can use?
Yes, I think there is. I think it's shared with Queen's College. I've never been there actually, but I think so. We have the boathouse, which is very nice. It looks different from all the other boathouses. So yeah, if you're interested in rowing, which I picked up at university, it is absolutely amazing. There's also a couple of squash courts I forgot to mention on site at Univ, if that's your thing as well.
And how have you found rowing do you do it with college?
With college, yeah. It's been amazing. So they organised like a taster session at the start of term, so that was over Freshers Week, which I actually missed, but then I got a tour of the boathouse, and lots of freshers signed up. Quite a few stuck to it, yeah. And it's just been really nice. It's just really lovely to kind of row with older years who basically teach you how to row if you don't know, if you've never done it before. And the whole club is very supportive. I think rowers tend to get like a bad reputation, especially before, if you've never kind of done the sport before, or like kind of hear what people say. I mean, I personally heard before coming to Oxford that like it was very cliquey, they only spoke about rowing, that sort of stuff, but it's actually a very kind of open-minded, like, yeah, just nice group to be part of. Like you're obviously part of a team, you row together, like it's very physically demanding, but the fact like everyone's lovely just makes it worth it, I think.
And I'm sure you have like social events and things organised around all of the sports as well.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of like crew dates sometimes, which I'm not personally a fan of, but you know, they happen. Lots of like, you know, local like girls brunches in the mornings and stuff after training, which is really nice.
And what other sports are popular at Univ?
Rugby's very popular actually, both for boys and girls. Football less so. What else is there? I think Univ is a sporty college, but I feel like either people do it like on their own or very low key. They don't really boast about it, which is, I guess, quite nice. But yeah, there's always like something going on. And I think in the summer there's like croquet, which we missed because Trinity got cancelled. But yeah, there would have been.
And what other extracurricular activities or groups or things are offered at Univ or are really popular at Univ?
Let me think. I think kind of arts is quite popular. So I was mentioning the artist who organises lots of workshops. That's really kind of a big thing. What else? Oh yeah, there's an ensemble at Univ that generally gives like little concerts in masters lodgings kind of times a term or so, which are really nice. Lots of welfare activities too on the side. Yeah, lots of things.
Can you think of one kind of welfare activity that was particularly like uplifting or like comforting that Univ organised?
Univ organised a puppy welfare tea, yeah, which was really cute. I think it was towards the end of second term, like fifth week, when you know you really want to go home. Fifth week blues, you're kind of done with term, but it's not over yet. And people just brought in their puppies from home. I think their parents came and brought their puppies, which was really lovely because it was like their dogs, people's dogs. And we had lots of snacks, lots of tea, and it was just really like a really nice afternoon to take off and just kind of have a chill time with friends.
Yeah, that sounds so nice. And does Univ have a ball?
Yes, so we were meant to have a ball this summer, which got cancelled, unfortunately. I think the theme was solstice, so like sun and moon, something like that. Yeah,
That's really cool. Yeah.
It got cancelled, and I think that happens once every 2 years. Yeah.
And do you know how much tickets cost for?
Yeah, tickets were £90 for college members, I think, and then £100 for non-college. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good. I mean, some of the college balls are eye-wateringly expensive.
Like £200, I think, something crazy. So it wasn't too bad, yeah.
And from being at Oxford and obviously meeting people at different colleges and things like that, would you say that, let's say you just weren't allowed to be at Univ anymore for whatever reason, I don't know, would there be another college which is like quite an appealing college, and why?
I was thinking about this earlier. I think that's a good question. I think Worcester College, that offers my course. Funnily enough, I don't actually know many people there, but I just really like the college. It's very big, but it's a bit remote, so it's like its own little thing. And I went to a conference there, and they had like this mega big very like Scandi like conference hall, like lots of wood panels, like glass. It was very nice. And I think they've got like their own grounds on college and a pond, something mental like that. So yeah, Worcester probably.
Okay, and one final question. What is your kind of one specific most favourite thing about UNIV, and what is the thing you found most difficult about being at UNIV or just at Oxford in general?
Mm-hmm. My favourite thing about UNIV, probably the fact that there's always somebody in the JCR, regardless of like year or whatever, and it's very easy just to talk to the people there, and have a chat in the beanbags, or like play table football, just something. It's very like easygoing, I think, which I didn't expect from Oxford, like coming, you know, quite like I mean, year 13 was quite intense, and I was happy to see that people were, you know, like normal and down to earth one coming to Oxford. And then the hardest thing about like first year, I don't know, maybe the stress of having to give in work sometimes when like you hadn't planned for it, or, you know, there was something that took more of your time on the side and then you didn't really have time. So like organizing your time around work and not stressing out too much when, you know, deadlines are looming. I don't know, it's hard to pin something down in particular because everything's been kind of a whirlwind, but yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely that kind of environment of just like you've got one thing out the way and then you're on to the next. Sometimes it can just be a bit like crazy, but no, it sounds like UNIV is kind of a good environment to have that support, have the puppy therapy. Oh yeah, thank you so much for talking to me about UNIV. Sounds like you have a really nice time there, and hopefully it will be helpful to anyone who's thinking about applying to Oxford.
So too. Thank you so much.